Ahoy there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Solution coming of Noso Capital, coming to you on a rather late, or should I say very late evening here in the Southern Hemisphere. And we're going to be talking about Bitcoin as we watch the price quite closely. And as always, we start with the weekly chart and of course my favorite indicator, the Ichimoku. And as you can see, Chiku span, price action, Tengen-sen, Kijun-sen, everything is above the cloud. However, there are two things that seems to be keeping the price from running free. First, as you can see here, this dark orange line is above the blue line, and that's the Kijun-sen above the Tengen-sen. Now, when you normally have this type of situation here, let's make that a bit bigger. When you have this type of situation, it means it's in a bearish mode, because when it confirms a bearish mode, it means that the Kijun-sen is above the Tengen-sen. However, in this case, it's above the cloud. This tells you that there's still a bit of weakness within the market, just a little bit of weakness still within the market in terms of not allowing Bitcoin to actually thrive. And the second thing, perhaps even more importantly, is the Chiku span. Now, in order to see a massive price rise, the Chiku span must not be caught up within price action. When it does that, it almost certainly holds the price back. And as you can see, they're on the same level. If you look at that right there, you see that? Right there, they're on the same level. It sort of holds the price back. But I promise you, if this thing breaks out, that price will just shoot through the roof. And God knows where it's going to go. So, let's bring this down to the daily. Oh, one more thing I almost forgot to mention. At the bottom here, I have added the chop. And that's the choppiness index combined with the Lagarde RSI. The choppiness index doesn't tell you whether something is overbought or oversold. It simply tells you the amount of energy within the market. And as for the Lagarde RSI, which is the cyan color here, it is a non-linear indicator. And as you well know yourselves, instrument prices are non-linear. They move up, down, sideways as the market desires. So this indicates, as you can see with this arrow here, that indicates that, well, this is positive and it's definitely bullish and it's going up. Once you go above the 25 on this particular thing, then you know you're getting to a bullish territory, or rather you're getting to a situation where you're going from being oversold to being bought, should I say. So that's the essence of this. Now let's go to the daily very quickly. And in the daily, you can see this is what a bullish chart should look like. As you can see here. Here, the Chiku span running completely free. No problem. Price action, free. Tengen-sen above the Kijun-sen. Do you see that? That's the blue line above the orange line. Now, the only danger here is between the price action and the Kijun-sen. By the time it gets, if they're too far apart, what tends to happen? That tends to begin to indicate to you that the market is either being oversold or overbought. In this case, it's being overbought, which means that when it hits that particular point where it is really overbought, or when it is now, it's got to that equilibrium, what tends to happen is that the price gets attracted back towards the Kijun-sen, hence the fall in price. Now, I'm looking forward to what I'm going to try and do over time is to actually find these charts to actually show you what I'm talking about. But so far, so good. The Chiku span has run free. It's broken through the cloud as I told you it will. And there we have it. Coming down here, the Lagarde RSI looks very strong. It's over 80. And once you see the Lagarde do this, that means that that trend is in particular trend. In this case here is an upward trend. If it was here, is the downward trend. So you can see, if you look closely, you can see there downward here and upward there, as you can see. So that just simply tells you how strong the trend is there. And as for the choppiness index, we are at 49.99. Now, any choppiness index, when it starts falling below 38.2, then you begin to look closely and begin to get worried, because that means that there's not enough fuel in the market to actually drive the prices up, down, or whichever way you want to trade. And next we go down to the 4-hour, which is the bridge between the swing traders and of course the long-term investors. Again, this is classic, as you can see here, cloud in a nice angle, although flatten out here, and that's because you're seeing the flattening out here. Do you see that? There's a flattening here. Once you see that flattening, that means that it's consolidating. So it might be the market just taking a little bit of a rest before it takes off again. Chiku span runs free, no problem. Everything is above the cloud, and this tells you that this is definitely bullish in the 4-hour. Coming down to the Lagar RSI, which is the blue one here, as you can see, that's about 86.11, which is very strong. And then finally, the CHOP index is about 66.21, which is really good. So there's no problem down there, and I think we're looking very pretty. We're looking pretty. And so this tells you how strong the 4-hour is. Remember, the larger time frames set the general direction of the market. However, when the market is going to change, it comes from the inside out. In other words, from the lower time frames. Their reaction then cascades upwards. Okay, so finally, let's go back to the weekly chart and let's just take that off and bring in the Bitcoin bull market support. And I told you about these two. This is something I watch very closely because once the price of Bitcoin goes above the 20-week SMA. Now, for those of you, if you are just joining, or if you have just joined and you've never seen any of these, this moving average cloud is a combination of the 21 weekly exponential moving average and the 20 weekly simple moving average. The simple moving average is in green, that's the 20 weekly, and the 21 EMA is in purple. Now, when there is a crossover, there are two things that you need to see here. First, we've got the first condition, like I said to you, which is that once there are two closing, let's make that a bit larger so you can see it. So if you look here, this is the 21, the purple line here is the 21 weekly exponential moving average. Now, when you have got we've got two candles here who have closed above it, this begins to tell you that there is something there. Had it been that it had just started and fallen down, then no. But once you've got two very strong closes above that begins to tell you that okay, there's strength in the market. The second thing that we need to see is for the 21 weekly to cross over the 20, and for about 2 or 3 candles to be above the 20. And I promise you, we are going to see a massive increase in the price of Bitcoin. But not just that, the altcoins themselves will also rise in prices. And so we're going to be looking forward to seeing just that activity. Everyone wants to be hopeful. I'm hopeful just as you are to see the prices go up. Who doesn't want to see their holdings increase in value? I do, and I know you do. But anyway, that's enough of me for one evening. And as always, keep your eyes and ears open and your trading sharp. Have a good one. Bye.